When my dad asked, "Where's your car?" I wasn't ready. Not because I didn't know the answer, but because answering meant saying out loud everything I had been trying to survive silently. It was a Tuesday afternoon, the kind where nothing feels urgent until suddenly everything is. My phone buzzed while I was sitting on the edge of my bed, staring at the wall, trying to decide whether I had the strength to shower. "Dad," flashed on the screen. I almost didn't answer. I hadn't talked to him properly in weeks. Not since I started pretending everything was fine. Not since my life quietly collapsed in ways I couldn't explain without sounding dramatic or weak. But I answered anyway. "Hey, Dad?" His voice was warm, familiar, safe. "Hey, kiddo. I was just thinking about you." I swallowed. We talked about nothing at first. The weather, his knee pain, a neighbor's dog that kept digging holes in his yard. Normal things, comfortable things. Then he paused. And casually, too casually, he asked, "So, where's your car?" The room felt smaller. My heart dropped into my stomach. I stared at the cracked paint on my wall, my mouth opening but no sound coming out. Because my car wasn't just missing, it had been taken, and not by a stranger. 3 weeks earlier, my husband had kissed my forehead and said, "I'll just take your car today. Mine's acting up." That wasn't unusual. We shared things. We were married. That's what people do when they trust each other. At least, that's what I thought. He didn't come home that night. His phone went straight to voicemail. By morning, I was panicking. Not because he was gone, but because our daughter's school called, asking why she hadn't been picked up the day before. I had walked to the school in the rain with a borrowed umbrella, apologizing through tears, trying to explain that my car had broken down. That was the first lie I told for him. It wouldn't be the last. When he finally showed up the next evening, he smelled like someone else's perfume. Sweet, floral, not mine. He said, I needed space. Space. That was the word he used to justify disappearing with my car, my credit card, and, eventually, my sense of safety. I didn't go looking for proof. I swear I didn't. But his phone lit up while he was in the shower. A message preview appeared on the screen. "Did you tell her yet?" My hands shook as I picked up the phone. I knew the passcode. Of course I did. I was his wife. The messages weren't hidden. They were bold, confident, casual. "I love waking up next to you. She doesn't appreciate you. The car feels like freedom, doesn't it?" That last one made me feel sick. Because that car, the one my dad asked about, was bought with my savings, my overtime, my sacrifices. And now it was being driven by a woman who knew exactly what she was doing. My dad cleared his throat on the other end of the line. "You still there?" I closed my eyes, and for the first time, I didn't protect my husband. I didn't soften the truth. I didn't lie. "No, Dad," I said quietly. "I don't have my car anymore." There was silence, then gently, "What do you mean?" I took a breath that felt like it scraped my lungs. "My husband took it. He's with someone else." The words sounded unreal even as I said them. My dad didn't yell. He didn't curse. He just said something that shattered me more than anger ever could. "Oh, sweetheart." I started crying before I could stop myself. Ugly crying. The kind where your chest aches and your throat burns and you don't care how you sound anymore. "I didn't want to tell you," I sobbed. "I didn't want you to worry." "I'm your father," he said firmly. "That's my job." Then he asked a question that changed everything. "Are you safe?" I looked around my small apartment. Empty cupboards, a mattress on the floor, my daughter asleep in the next room. "I think so," I whispered. That's not an answer I like, he said. Then came the words I'll never forget. Pack a bag. I'll be there in 30 minutes. I didn't argue. For the first time in months, someone else was in control, and it felt like relief. When my dad pulled up, I saw his jaw tighten as he took in the state of my life. The dark circles under my eyes, the broken lock on the door, the fear I'd been carrying alone. He hugged me longer than usual. Then he knelt down in front of my daughter and smiled like nothing in the world was wrong. Hey, kiddo, want to go on a little adventure? She nodded. And just like that, we left. No note, no explanation, no apology. That night, in a quiet motel room, I told my dad everything. The car, the messages, the lies, the loneliness. I told him how I blamed myself. How did I not see this coming? I asked. He looked at me and said, because you trusted someone who promised to love you. That's not a flaw. I cried again, but this time it felt like healing. The next morning, my husband called, then texted, then threatened. I didn't answer. My dad helped me file a police report for the car, helped me contact a lawyer, helped me remember who I was before I shrank myself to keep a marriage alive. 2 weeks later, the car was found. She had been driving it, wearing my sunglasses, using my daughter's car seat. That was the moment something in me hardened, not with bitterness, but with clarity. I was done. I moved into a small place near my dad, got a new job, started therapy, learned how to breathe again. My husband tried to apologize, said he made a mistake. I told him the truth. You didn't make one mistake. You made 1,000 choices, and I chose myself. A few months later, my dad and I were sitting on his porch. He nodded toward my car in the driveway. You take good care of that thing, he said. I smiled. Yeah, I do. Then he looked at me and asked softly, you okay now? I thought about everything I survived, and I answered honestly, I am. So when people ask me what I told my dad when he asked, where's your car? I tell them this. I told him the truth. And in doing so, I got my life back.